the body itself will feel the emotional toll that comes with her subtle conversations, not because of how you interpret it, because when you say she's lying, then that creates conflict. But when you understand it as the what is, being near Hannah consistently, eventually you will burn out energetically. That is when you realize, oh, something is wrong, not because of how I am interpreting Hannah's games, and I am aware of it, but because some part of Hannah that is in Hannah causes more harm to any human being that will surround her consistently without creating and reinforcing consistent boundary. And until Hannah is aware of that pattern, if it's a pattern, maybe it is a flaw, she can change. But if it's not a flaw, but it is an ingrained coping mechanism, then she needs to see a therapist. But there is obviously more to that. So in this process, you might think, oh, I need to act the right way. I need to do things in the right way. I am the problem. When you see things in that lens, you slowly start tapping into your coping mechanism, and your coping mechanism causes more harm to your internal operating system, because now it's creating a bug. And when there will be a bug in your internal operating system, now the behavior can only be applied to that bug. I feel like sometimes we mess up without knowing. Is it making any sense, really? Wow, that was too much. No, it wasn't too much. When there is a physical sensation linked to an emotion, the brain doesn't just interpret it passively. It will process it and interprets it. And this is the emotional brain that is unconsciously interpreting every situation. And you are never aware of this. You might see something for the first time, okay? And that thing is not a trigger to you because you are experiencing it for the first time, and it has no effect on you emotionally because it has never caused harm emotionally, or it has never caused any harm because you don't interpret it that way emotionally. But when there is a past experiences that is still in your internal operating system on an emotional state, this is a confirmation that your state of being right now will see some character in someone, even when it isn't entirely the character, but it mimics that character. Your emotional brain will instantly interpret that character as a threat. In a millisecond, when it interprets it as a threat, this is a confirmation that there will be an emotional feeling in your brain, but at the very same time, there is a physical sensation in your body. So every time you see it as a threat, it amplifies either fear or anxiety. And if it was just for the first time, and your brain has never saved the past experience as dangerous or threatening, at that very moment you won't experience anxiety and you won't experience fear. That is why you end up asking me, why do I feel a weird energy when I am around a specific lady? They act in a certain way that you are never used to, you have never experienced, and you are seeing a new pattern in women, and you want to see them in a lens that your brain is used to. And in that very moment, when you think something is wrong with her, when she's just coping with your existence, you tend to lean in, you tend to ask questions, and all this information is happening in a milliseconds. And the emotional brain is trying to send signals and information to the other parts of the brain. And these other parts of the brain, it now signals the ANS. And when it signals the ANS is a system that sends information, or it controls the whole body. So the ANS will now send information, that is a system, to the whole body. Either it will send fear or nervousness or anxiety, and all this information is happening in a milliseconds, and your brain mentally is facing an emotional toll, and maybe psychologically and mentally, and your body is also facing maybe a physical sensation in a form of fear or anxiety, and all this is happening all at once. It's an interplay of emotions, and now you think, because you can't really sit in that, feel that, and experience that, you think that, oh, I think I need to lean in. Why do I experience this weird feeling, weird anxieties when I am around Hannah, when I see Hannah? When reality, Isaac, is when you see Hannah, your state of being is in a specific state that isn't entirely a territory that it's used to. It is in a new territory that it is experiencing, and it's trying to understand things. And now that it's not understanding things, at that very moment, it wants to see things logically, but at the same time, the emotions are bypassing the logics. And now your energy is totally off, and you ask yourself, why do I feel different when I am around a specific lady? Because of experiencing this lady and seeing this lady, you see them on a certain lens, and that lens amplifies emotions in your internal operating system. And when it amplifies emotions, your brain will try to analyze things either on a physiological state, psychological state, or on an emotional state. And it can be experiencing both all at once, because the interplays of emotions are happening in a milliseconds. And in that moment, the same scenario that is happening with you is the same scenario that is happening in Hannah's body. And you as Isaac, you will cope with Hannah's character. And as Hannah, she will also cope with your existence because of how she understands your existence as at now. Not because that is the reality, but it's because of how she thinks this is who you are. That is the image. And she is just also coping. And when she's just coping, obviously she has this character and a behavior that you can easily tell it's not a normal character. And for you, you think you are the reason why she is acting and behaving that way. No, your existence is being interpreted on a lens that her body has never seen. That is why she is coping, and her lens is either interpreting you as someone she feels attracted to, someone she feels fear, someone she feels excitement when she sees, and either way you trigger her on a certain way, but mostly it's always on an emotional state. You trigger her emotionally, either through fear, through excitement, or through uncertainty, or through a state that she has never experienced, but she interprets it in a way she is the only one who knows. And her body is in a flight and fight mode, and the only way she can cope with your existence is to act in a different way that she might not act when she is around other people, because when she is around other people, her brain tells her that now she is safe. But right now she is just coping. And coping means I am acting in a weird, interesting way that for you, you might actually notice that. And you tend to also lean into your coping mechanism, or maybe you try to empathize because you care too much and you think you are the reason why she is acting the way she is acting. No. How she interprets you is the reason why she is acting the way she is acting, and that action, it is a character and behavior that your brain has never experienced, and you think you need to fix because now you have conflict with the new territory that you are experiencing for the first time. Oh Lord, have mercy.